Wait, you see that Trump got a rally right now featuring Vivek? Is that true? Oh my God, no. Somebody, please tell me he's not gonna be on the campaign trail. Oh my God, that'd be so fucking annoying. Oh my God, please, no. No, please, okay, I hope it's a one-time thing. Please, from the love of God, let it be a one-time thing.
On November 5th, 2024, that will be an economic boom. And cruise on a beautiful, bright future ahead. Vivek Ramaswamy. Come on up, Vivek.
God, man. God, this internet's terrible.
Let's do this. Well, you know this man. You know why we're here. Patriots across the state.
Patriots.
We are in the middle of a war in this country. That's what this is.
Okay, well, I like, what I really appreciate about Vivek is his ability to unite people, unite Americans, regardless of political divides. And, I always liked his tact with dealing with the unstable political atmosphere that we feel at times when it comes to the rhetoric we have in this country. I really appreciate him tempering his rhetoric. We're at a war. This is war. Dude, the schizophrenics at home are clapping harder than ever, man. Clapping harder and loading them clips.
It's not a war between black and white. It's not between Democrat and Republican, even in a deeper sense. It's between the permanent state and the everyday citizen. Between those of us who...
The permanent state? What, is he fucking ANCAP now? Where it is a war against Social Security. They think they're gonna make our grandmas take a check. No, they won't. Our grandmas will go cold, and that is freedom.
Love the United States of America and a fringe minority who hates this country and what we stand for. And right now we need a commander-in-chief.
Really, is that who Trump's running against? Trump's running against the people who want the permanent state? So Trump's not gonna at all, like spying, he's gonna reel that in. Is he gonna reel in the spying? Is he gonna pardon, what, is he gonna pardon Julian Assange? He's not gonna go after the press? Dude, get out of here, come on.
Chief who will lead up.
Remember, Trump increased the deficit by $8 trillion. He increased the debt by $8 trillion while in office. I don't think this is the guy you got to put in office if your main objective is to shut down the government. Look, if you were trying to put go run with the libertarians if this is your position. But Trump's not the guy.
Us to victory in this war. That's what we need in this country. You got to know you're in a war to win one. You can't win one if you're asleep at the switch, have your head stuck in the sand like most Republicans. And I think that's going to require somebody who isn't bought and paid for, a businessman, not a politician. Anybody heard of that? And that's why I was in this.
I'm sick of businessmen getting into politics. We need to have a we need a total and complete shutdown of businessmen entering politics until we can figure out what the hell is going on. Just because you can balance like a payroll doesn't mean you can manage a national security crisis.
Race, but I'll tell you, the people of Iowa spoke.
Also, you can't just default. You can't just like, oh well, I'm stepping down as CEO. I'm sure we can shut down this company, open up a new one. You can't just shut down America. You can't just shutter America's doors, start again. And it's not some flunky startup.
Loud and clear last night, and I'm a big believer that we, the people, create a government that is accountable to us, not the.
Like, didn't Trump? I'm sorry. Trump lost money on casinos, right? Is my history wrong here? Just if we're even talking about business acumen, what about Trump's business acumen specifically? I'm not saying he has no business acumen. He's a good marketer. That's why, it might be better for like a press secretary or like probably a wrestling promoter than this. Like when he did the WWE stuff, that was peak Trump.
Around that we the people choose who leads this country. And so we heard we the people last night, and that is why last evening I met my friend here. We met in person, and I told him that I would endorse Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and do everything in my power to lead us to victory in this war. It is a 1776 moment right now.
Dog, this dude, this is a 1776 moment. This guy facing 91 charges. This guy who said he wanted to suspend the U.S. Constitution. This guy who does not accept the result of any election that he loses. He's our George Washington.
That's where we live right now. You want to know what does it mean to be a Republican today? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. Ideals like freedom and merit and the pursuit of excellence. That you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of...
Hey, you know, if he gets a cabinet position, every single thing he said about Israel will turn around in 5 seconds, right? I just want to throw that out there to everybody. That those principled positions, if he becomes part of Trump's cabinet and Trump tells this kid to bark, he's gonna bark.
Of your character and your contributions and affirmative action and DEI. We are done with the nonsense. Send it back home. It means you believe in the rule of law. And I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means
he's facing 91 charges. 91 charges, man. Many of them we know he's guilty of because we have audio of him admitting to the crime. Hello, would you like to see this classified document? How could you have such an open and shut case? This is the stuff that if you saw on TV, you'd be like, that's too, come on, that's too easy. Come on, that's too comical. Like that was, that was a, yeah, an interesting narrative device there. You just have audio of the president saying this, I could have declassified this, but it's classified. You want to see my invasion plans? Come on. That's too silly. Yeah, that's a writer's strike episode.
Means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law, and that is why we need to use our military to secure our own southern border in this country. That's what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States of America.
So the rule of law is just deploying troops? Okay, so this is I have to say, right? Manufactured crises by tyrants, and I'm not saying that there's no problem at the border, but manufactured crises by tyrants is a real good way to go after people's civil liberties. The things that are currently temporary measures, like troop deployments in communities, can then become permanent measures. I mean, I'm not saying, look, he's being overdramatic. So now can I talk about Reichstag fires and the use of authoritarians of crises to take away people's civil liberties? Just saying that, just throwing that out there. I mean, reminder, this is the guy who said we should target the families of terrorists. I don't think this is somebody that particularly cares too much when it comes to the civil liberties angle here.
It means the people we elect to run the government needs to be the ones who actually run the government, not the shadow government in the deep state that runs the show today. This man is going to get in there this time around and actually...
Yeah, last time he got distracted. You know, they had just... You know, Better Call Saul was still on. And, you know, there was a Diet Coke convention in D.C., he forgot how to tie his shoes. He needed to take a weekend to remember. Yeah, last time he had the deep state so close, but they dodged him. Oh, he slipped away. But he'll get Mr. Deep State next time. It'll be a real Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner moment.
Shut down that deep state. Not messing around this time anymore. That's how we win this war in this country. And the way we're actually going to do this in the long run and win this time around is with elections we need to secure in this country for the long run. You want to know what needs to happen in this country? Single day voting on election day as a national holiday.
How do you just go through the Iowa caucus where the wind was basically solid ice tearing off your skin that motivated less people to come out? You got 100,000 people compared to 2016 where you had 180,000 people. So you nearly half the participation in the Iowa caucus. I know that, you know, it was more competitive in 2016. It was a different environment, but you nearly half the participation of the Iowa caucus. How do you see that situation? And see how poorly Republicans did when it came to mail-in voting and say, oh, you know what the solution is here? Single day voting. Everybody has to clear up this one day to vote. And if you can't vote on that day, then vote. And democracy is just not for you today. If it's on a weekday that you work, tough shit. If you're sick and you can't leave, if you're disabled, tough shit. Why? We should get as many people to a vote as possible, as long as it's secure and we have no evidence of availability of the ballot leading to large-scale voter fraud, which we have yet to find. So why restrict it as much as possible? Now, I could like gallivant around the answer for a little bit, but I'll get to the point. I think a lot of it is motivated by the fact that Republicans tend to do better when less voters turn out, because Republicans have a smaller coalition, but they have less members of the party than Democrats, but that smaller base is more dedicated, is more cohesive, at least historically has been more cohesive. And they're more motivated to come out. Younger people, sometimes harder to get out there to get to the polls. And so that means when less people turn out, typically Republicans perform better. And so restricting it so as few people can vote as possible and making it so the Democrats can't like take as much time as they want to get out to voters and make sure as many people participate and have their voice heard as possible, that can undercut their efforts. That's at least the partisan motivation that I could see motivating said move.
Dixby_Deepender has donated $20. Good luck with the next YT claim. Thanks for your great work.
Thank you. I don't know if YouTube will ever decide that I deserve a dime, but I appreciate it.
With paper ballots, government-issued ID to match the voter file, and English as the sole language that appears on a ballot. And I'm confident this man will be the one to get us there. And this is how we get our country back. Not black or white. It's deeper than that. These are the ideals of the American Revolution. And you know what? We do have some enemies that we need to defeat on the other side, but we have challenges to address in our own party right here at home. So you know what? If you want somebody who's going to foist onto you to use your social media account, you want to use a driver's license to do it, to have the right to use the internet, this man's not your man. There's another candidate in this race who'll do that for you. It's Nikki Haley. You want to cut social...
Is that true? That she wants to, in order to use the internet, you have to have an ID? Did she say that? I don't believe anything that comes out of the schmuck's mouth, so I don't know if she said it or not, but it would be a stupid idea.
Security, you want to cut Medicare, you want to cut veterans benefits so we can fork over more money to Ukraine so some kleptocrat can buy a bigger house.
This fucking moron knuckle dragger. Nobody's ever proposed cutting Medicare or Medicaid to send money to Ukraine. He's just making up things to be angry at. He's run out of things to say. He's been on the campaign trail for 8 months. He probably said every single thing he could possibly even could imagine to say about politics, because he doesn't have that much experience. I mean, 2-3 years ago, he said he was crying over Trump supporters storming the Capitol. Now he's at Trump's side, sucking the hairs off of his cock. This isn't something, nobody's making cuts to Social Security and Medicare. You can't take Social Security money and send it over to Ukrainians, even if you wanted to. He's saying something that's not only not happening, but can happen. It not only is it not happening, it's something that cannot happen. We have been negotiating a new aid package to Ukraine since August. We haven't sent them or approved any more aid since then. So I have no clue what the fuck he's talking about. He's just making things up.
You want to cut Social Security, you want to cut Medicare, you want to cut veterans benefits.
By the way, the vast majority of people who want to make those cuts are within the Republican Party. I do just want to say that. The majority of the people who are pushing for those cuts behind the scenes are elected Republicans, and if they keep the House and if they gain the Senate, that is what will put those bodies at most risk. There's not, I mean, how many Democrats do you know that want to make cuts to Social Security?
So we can fork over more money.
We know that Mike Lee has proposed cuts to Social Security.
To Ukraine so some kleptocrat can buy a bigger house. Vote for Nikki.
By the way, the house thing, not only did he just make up a scenario that's not happening, the house story he's talking about, he's talking about a story that Zelensky took American aid money and spent it on a mansion, but it's just not true. It was just made up by some like Russian disinfo org, just completely contrived. I mean, I don't know what house he's talking about, but if that's what he's trying to hint at, then he's hinting at something that was also not real.
Nikki Haley, not this man right here. But if you want to actually put an agenda that puts Americans first, to say that the moral obligation of your leaders is to the citizens of this country, not another one, there's not a better choice left in this race.
I mean, you know, if this was, I don't know, year 7 and we weren't globalized, then all you had to do as president is just look inward, then maybe this would be more plausible. But in the year 2024, where a housing crisis in China could cause economic ruin within the United States, or a inflation crisis within Europe could cause a crisis within the United States, we're globalized. It isn't as simple as just saying, all I have to do is look what's within my borders and everything else will just turn out all right. It ain't that simple. Not to talk about the morality of it, not to talk about, you know, the need for European security outside of American self-interest, but from American self-interest, European security matters. Europe is our main export market. The Europeans and the euro hold the second largest reserve currency in the world. We made commitments to the Ukrainians in the 90s after they gave up the nuclear arsenal, and deterrence is important, and trying to make sure that we don't send the message, hey, if you don't have a nuke, you're going to get your country's open to be conquered. Nobody will come to assist you, even when they commit to assist you. I don't think this is the right messages to send. These are things that are within American self-interest. He is just taking short-term political gain by picking on Ukraine aid, which is not the reason why anyone has proposed cuts to any of these social programs. If all aid to Ukraine ended tomorrow, all the people who are calling for social security cuts will continue to call for social security cuts.
Than this man right here, and that is why I am asking you to do the right thing as New Hampshire and to vote for Donald J. Trump as your next president, because we're not working with a lot of time here. If our kids are in high school before we get this right, we don't have a country left. That's what it means. We've been
need to create the urgency. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. If you don't vote for Trump, the country's gonna catch on fire. He's the best president ever. That's why I ran against him, but he's the best president ever.
celebrating our diversity and our differences.
No.
For so long that we forgot all of the ways that we are the same as Americans, bound by that common set of ideals that set this country into motion. We believe those.
Okay, now he's just getting preachy. I don't give a fuck anymore. Well, that's enough of that. I don't think he's going to get a cabinet position out of it. I don't know what cabinet position he would even be given. I don't know what experience he has to do a cabinet position. What would he become? What could you imagine if he headed the Department of Health, since he used to work in pharmaceuticals? That sounds like something Trump would do. Oh, he made medicine? Sure, Department of Health. That's that. If it's housing and urban development, I will die. If Trump picked Ben Carson for housing and urban development and then just randomly picked Vivek Ramaswamy for it the second time around, I will die of laughter. You guys remember that, right? Trump tried to pick Ben Carson for housing and urban development. Ben Carson, a neurosurgeon with no history in housing or urban development. Why would Ben Carson, of all the Republicans that ran against Trump specifically, be appointed to the position of housing and urban development? I don't know. We'll just have to figure that out, I guess. We'll just have to figure that out.